yeah, so on this issue, of Black Americans and our children, the window of economic opportunity is closing. It's closing. In a few more decades, another decade or three, this window is going to be closed forever. The wage gap, the wealth gap between Black Americans and white Americans, Black Americans and Asian Americans, Black Americans and Latino Americans, it is going to be too broad of a gap to try and close. And no matter how hard you work, you will not be able to catch up. You'll be forever, perpetually 100 years behind everybody else economically. The window of opportunity to fix these issues that are happening in our communities, it's closing and it's slamming shut quickly. It's slamming shut fast. And if we don't get serious about doing something about it now, it's going to close and it'll stay closed for good. And we will perpetually be in this state of economic failure, being stuck in this space where we are behind everybody else in this country. Our children are dumb. That is the truth. I'm sorry, I'm not here to affirm our emotions. For the past 50 years, we have had Black scholars and Black speakers getting out in front of us and affirming our emotions and not being honest with us about the issues that they see in our community. I am not here to affirm our emotions. I want to see some progress happening because this is an issue. And if we don't do something about it now, it will be too late to fix it. It is high time that we get off of our ass, stop the watchful waiting, the sitting around and waiting for some sort of Black Messiah to come and save us from our issues. It's not going to happen. Malcolm X is long gone. Martin Luther King is long gone. Huey P. Newton, all of our Black scholars and our Black thinkers and our Black activists, that era in Black intellectual thought, policy, politics, and activism is long gone. And it's not coming back, especially not with our children's education rates being where they are. Stop waiting around for some sort of Black Messiah to come and save you. Take what is happening inside of your individual households into your own hands. It's really frustrating seeing how we sit around and we wait for someone else to sort of create an opportunity for us. What happens inside of your household is your business. Each household, each small home is like a little society. What goes on inside of your society, inside of your personal, your home, your little country, can have drastic effects around you, the communities around you. If each house in a community is dysfunctional, it's falling apart, the children are behind in terms of their education, the parents are not there, there's financial hardship, and then you put all of that together in one community, that whole community is messed up. Each individual home is like a small society. If you get your society together, you get your family together, you get your home together, and then all of these homes, each of them individually are doing the same thing, watch how the community changes. And what's happening in these communities change. Okay, you're looking to the highest rungs of society to come and fix issues that are happening inside of your individual households, and that is not how government works. That's not how government works. That is not what our national government is here to do. That's it. They're here to protect our ability to live our own lives and lead our own lives and make sure that we get to do that without tyranny, without someone else infringing on our rights. That is what our national government is here to do. They can't tell you what to do inside of your own household. That's on you. That's on you. Stop looking to the White House to fix your problems. They can't. That's outside of their scope. They can't. Your home is your responsibility. They can't, come into your house and fix your problems. That's on you. It is. Your local governments might be able to help, maybe. But your local governments are more concerned with your local infrastructure. Again, what is happening inside of your home is ultimately up to you. My goal post-graduation, is to spend really the majority of my time after I graduate creating programs to fix these issues, creating educational programs to fix these issues, going door to door, helping Black families practice or learn family planning and the importance of family planning, the importance of educating your kids at home outside of school as well, because children only retain so much of the information that they learn at school. Majority of their knowledge base is coming from what they learn at home. And when our children get home from school and their parents are in front of the television, or their mom is glued to the phone and won't put it down and come to the kitchen table and help them with their homework, this is part of the reason why our kids are dumb and they're behind. Parents are incredibly influential in the lives of our children, incredibly influential in the lives of our children. If you become an active participant in their education at home, their grades will soar. That is just a fact of the matter. You, as a parent, you need to participate in their education. You have to motivate them. They're going to get it from you. If they see that you don't care about their education, they're not going to care about it either. So you have to get active. You know, and again, like this, whenever we try to talk about these issues, and this is what really pisses me off about it, whenever we try to talk about these issues in Black communities, some Black person somewhere is going to get up, will always stand up and say, well, what about what white people are doing? In white supremacy this, and white supremacy that, and if white supremacy this, then we wouldn't have this. Stop. Just stop. You cannot say that forever. You cannot. We've been saying that for ages. And we have had these compromises over the decades to try and fix these issues that we claim white supremacy is causing, that structural racism is causing. And yet the problems persist. What does that tell you? We get these government subsidies, these welfare programs. Doesn't fix the problem. The problems get worse. We get affirmative action in the workplace, in school, in institutions of higher learning. That doesn't fix the problem. The problems are getting worse. They're not better off. We're still in the same position. So that tells me that bringing white people into this is not a solution. It isn't fixing anything because they're not a part of the problem. That really boils my blood when Black Americans do that. We're trying to discuss these issues and how to approach them. And someone always has to hop up and put in their little 2 cents about white people and all of this other stuff. White people have nothing to do with it. Leave them out of it. We're clinging to the past in this country to inform our present, and I get why some of us might feel like that is necessary, but for a moment, consider leaving white people the hell out of what is going on in our communities and get serious about what is going on in our communities with ourselves. Stop waiting for white people to come in and fix it. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. This is your home. Take some action inside of your home and stop waiting around for someone else to come and do the work for you. I won't be a part of the current of Black intellectual thinkers who appease our emotions. I won't be a part of it. I won't be a part of it. We've had enough of that. We've had enough of the Al Sharptons getting up here and using this sort of inspirational rhetoric that at the end of the day does nothing. I think we need someone in Black communities who will actually stop taking the piss and get serious. Get serious about these issues. Get stern with people in our communities who want to be coddled and who want to be told, oh, well, this isn't your fault. It's white people. That's whose fault. No, no, no. Absolutely not. You know, it really bothers me. It's like dealing with babies. I'm sorry, but it is. That we won't listen to any Black American who says, hey, you know, let's consider these issues if they won't talk about what white people have to do with it. We don't want to listen. We don't want to hear it because it doesn't affirm our feelings, our perceived feelings of injustices. We don't want to talk about it, and we don't want to hear these Black Americans who want to address these issues critically. And when I say critically, I don't mean from this sort of critical view of the history of structural racism in this country and how all of these things sort of like putting together this freaking beautiful mind wall, starting with white people at the top and then all of the issues that we see in our communities at the bottom and strings connecting it. Stop it. That is madness. It's madness. What happens inside of your home is your responsibility. Stop sitting around waiting for some sort of black messiah to come and fix your problems. That era is long gone. Stop waiting around for white people to cut you some big check thinking that it's going to solve everything, because it won't. It won't. A lot of the issues that we see in our communities cannot be solved by money. They can't. We see these degenerative behaviors perpetuated in some of our black celebrities who went from rags to riches. They went from being hood rats to now living in Beverly Hills, and their behavior doesn't change. They're still toxic, still low morality, still low principles, still low values, and have money. So money will not fix all of our problems. Baby mamas all over the place, baby daddies all over the place. Some of our wealthiest, most famous black American celebrities still have issues, still are perpetuating hood issues in the hills of Los Angeles. So cut the crap. Getting a check is not going to fix all of our problems. It might fix some, but not all, especially not when majority of us do not have financial education. We're financially illiterate, don't know how to stretch a dollar and turn it into something successful and something lucrative and something that we can pass on to future generations. I can count the amount of times that people in my family have gotten large sums of money and had nothing to show for it, had no idea what to do with it. I think instead of focusing on getting some sort of check cut to all of us from the government, I think we should first be focusing on creating the infrastructure for what we're going to do once we get some sort of check like this, some sort of income like this, some sort of reparation. Let's just say someday that happens. What are we going to do with it? We have no idea, because we're not thinking about that. We're thinking about the end goal without thinking about how we're going to get there. What are we going to do with a check like that? What are we going to use it for? Has anyone sat down and thought about that? No, don't care. Just give me the money. And as soon as you get it, it's going to be gone. It's going to burn a hole through your pockets. How many black Americans have gotten their income taxes back and did nothing smart with it? Nothing wise with it. If you're mad, you're just going to have to be mad. I'm sorry. We've had decades of black Americans, and I'm going to say it again, we've had decades of black Americans in our communities telling us sweet nothings, patting us on the back for doing nothing, telling us how great we are, and if we just try and we'll achieve, and all of this other sentimental crap, and they refuse to be honest with us. And that to me is a real injustice. You know, the ideas I have for fixing some of these issues, starting with the youth, because frankly, the grown adults are grown adults. They're stuck in their ways. Some of them are stuck in their ways. You can only help those who want to be helped. But the youth, I think, can still turn things around for the better because they still have time. There are some black Americans who are upwards of 40, 50 years old who have become content and comfortable with having low educational standards and financial illiteracy, poor health. For them, they might be a lost cause. They might not be able to help this situation and the outlook of this situation. As I said, that window of economic opportunity, it's closing. There's a few decades left to try and turn things around, and if we don't, the gap, the wealth gap between black Americans and other people in this country, white people, Latino people, Asian people, that gap is going to get bigger and bigger, and eventually it will be impossible to close it. It's going to be impossible to cross that gap. And we'll be forever stuck, perpetually stuck, trying to keep up with everyone else in this community. Our households will still, 50 years from now, be impoverished. And I'm willing to bet 50 years from now, we're still going to be hollering, well, white people are the reason. 100 years from now, we're still going to be hollering that. Eventually, that excuse will become inert. You can't use it forever. You can't. So anyway, the children, I think, can turn things around. Because in 20, 30 years, if you're in your 40s, in 20, 30 years, what can you do? I'm sorry, what can you do? Just be honest with yourself. Time to, pass off the baton to the youth. Because they've now have the time to fix things. If we're wise. And we get to these kids while they're young and we turn things around with them. So part of my goal post-graduation is to try and engage Black American communities with these issues, and especially the youth. Instilling in these young children, teens, and young adults in Black communities the drive to get their education, the drive for entrepreneurship, the drive for better health, better family relationships, better man-woman relationships, healthier households, starting with the youth, especially the young adults who are soon going to be making their transition into adulthood. I'm currently working on how this program is going to work and how it's going to look. I think my first plan, my first goal is Black male youth, but I really have not worked it out entirely yet. This is like really complex, and there's a lot of layers to it, psychology that needs to go into it. So it's a lot, but yeah, it's pitiful, and it's getting bleak. It's getting bleak. And I just have to keep shouting over and over again, that window of economic opportunity, it's closing, and it's closing fast. It is slamming down on our heads. So my concern is not what white people are doing or not doing. I don't need some sort of white savior. And I hate that other Black Americans feel like they need it, some sort of white savior to come and fix all their problems. As if we didn't have Black American millionaires walking around in this country during Reconstruction and after. During a time where actually being Black in this country was really hard, they still managed to become self-made. Where the hell did that drive go in Black communities? I don't know. Yeah. There's solutions to these issues. But, I find when I try to talk about them, I am attacked. And I have just come to the realization that I'm going to have to persevere anyway. So thank you for listening to this audio podcast. Sorry that there's no video footage. This was on my heart and this was on my mind, and I don't have my setup with me, and I just needed to talk to you all about this. So thank you, and I will chat you all soon and get back to posting videos soon. It's finals week at school. We're halfway through the semester, so I've got a lot going on, but bear with me. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.